Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Old Men Yell at Cloud. I am Christopher, and I am here once again joined by Patrick.
Yo-ho-ho.
And James.
Hey, howdy there, Christopher.
Didn't know we were doing all that. Tonight we are joined by...
Do you ever know what we're doing?
No, I don't. Tonight we're being joined by Andrew Husband. Drew, you are probably the first honest-to-goodness writer that we have had on this show, so...
And so you picked a writer who doesn't write about music. That's
correct.
Good way to start.
You've spoken to musicians, correct?
Yeah, on occain.
Yeah.
Only if it related to something else, but yeah. The most recent one that comes to mind was I talked to the Sleater-Kinney drummer, Janet Weiss. I think that's how you say her name. Only because she worked on Portlandia. Otherwise, I was like, holy shit, you're in Sleater-Kinney. And she was like, yeah, holy shit, I am. And then we had an interview. That was it.
Well, you know what they say, writing about music is like farting.
Just stop.
Thank you.
So I think we got to clear the air about a couple things before we get going here. First off, we can safely say that the McHiatus is over. Patrick ended it. When did you end it? Was it Sunday?
No, it was last night.
No. Before that. You technically ended it
you're
before
right.
that.
So
last night was the hard end, but before there was a soft ending to it.
There was a soft end. Yeah, I landed on a delicious pillow of McFlurry. No, that was last Saturday, I think. I wanted a sweet treat, and it was too late at night.
Does that count, though? The soft...
Well, that's why I said it's a soft end to the McHiatus, but there was a definite hard end to it. Was it last night, you said?
Last night, I got the new 2-for-5 deal, which you can get at your local McDonald's.
He's loving it.
What'd you get?
It's like it was a single quarter pounder and a 10-piece nugget for $5.
That is so much food for $5.
Yeah, it took me a couple hours to eat it, and the nuggets
No! You just left it sitting around, just kind of slowly
room
picking
All
it?
right, so I guess we should have went through with our original plan. Christopher and I went and had at McDonald's for dinner this evening because we thought we were all eating McDonald's, but you guys fucked us.
You went inside.
So we went inside because we didn't want to talk to a human, and we went and used one of the touch screens, and I was like, oh man, should I get a Happy Meal for Patrick?
Yeah, we almost got you a Happy
And Christopher
Meal.
was like, I don't know, it's going to sit there for 2 hours, but apparently that wouldn't have bothered you, so.
Right. Well, I mean, I smoked some weed, so it was okay.
Is that how that works?
You know, I'm working on that. They're working on that, figuring that out. It cures something. I don't know.
You know, it was funny. We went in and used the screen so we didn't have to talk to any humans, and then I ended up getting yelled at by one anyway.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, he did. That's a true story.
I
What did you do?
I ordered my meal, and then they called my number. They're like, 268. And then I went up, and I was like, oh, I was supposed to get a drink with that. And she was like, just grab a cup right there. And I was like, all right.
But what was pretty great about that was that immediately after she yelled that at him, she then proceeded to chant and bacon, bacon, bacon. The same person who angrily yelled at him just started chanting that.
Yeah, the fucking
to
android.
God knows who.
The fucking McDonald's androids are getting unruly.
Yeah. Just before we get off the topic, while I'm thinking of it, because I just want to make sure that this is out there in the ether and that everyone knows about it. Apparently, using these touchscreen ordering things, if you get a double quarter pounder with cheese, you can add one patty to that. So you can get I guess, triple quarter pounder with cheese.
Technically, that would be 3/4 of a pound, right?
Yeah, so it'd be a triple quarter pounder.
Yeah.
Triple quarter pounder with cheese. So it lets you get that extra patty. Just as a fair warning, the math is really confusing, the way that they make it work on these machines, but that is what it works out to be.
I don't do McDonald's math. What the fuck?
Well, but it's a hard stop at 3, because as soon as you hit the plus icon, it disappears. And
I
you cannot add another
I
one.
go to McDonald's because I couldn't do math.
Is that why you go there to eat? It's math related, my dietary decisions.
It'd be funny if they yelled at you if you tried to press more than 3. Like someone just comes out and says, no, you only get 3.
Yeah, it'd be like the guy at the buffet who came up to my friend who was capable of eating like insane amounts of food. And when he was on plate like 7 or whatever he was on at this place, the owner came running out and he's like, "You're gonna get a tummy ache."
That was the deterrent. Yeah. Not like, okay, there's a cap, sir. Like, we have families to feed and not just more than one person. No, you're going to get a tummy ache.
Yeah.
I want to be in a scenario where, like, as an adult, I yell at another adult, "You're gonna get a tummy ache."
So to put some clarity on this is at the Plaza in Saugus on Route 1 South, right before you get to Square One Mall, where where Stop and Shop is and Kmart used to be. There's a little strip mall in there. And there is a revolving door of restaurants that's currently a Buffalo Wild Wings. And for the longest time, it was just a different Asian buffet place.
Right.
And that was the story at this point in time. It was just a random Asian buffet place. And the proprietor came out and just yelled at my friend.
I was at the No Name seafood restaurant one time over on the fish pier there, and I was there on my lunch break back in the day when I worked at Somerville, and I went with two coworkers of mine, and one of my coworkers ordered fried shrimp and was trying to put salt on his fried shrimp and didn't realize that he was pouring sugar all over it. So my other coworker started making fun of him. It was like, "Oh, you put sugar on your shrimp?" And then he called the waiter. He was like, "Hey, come over here." He's like, "Look at this. This guy's
Look at this idiot.
Yeah, this guy's putting sugar on his shrimp." And the waiter was like, "Oh, I've never seen anybody do that before. What are you doing?" And
Bring out the whole kitchen staff.
Yeah, then he called the chef over. He's like, "Look at this guy. He's putting sugar on his shrimp."
Yeah, they just take his picture and everything, put it on a plaque at the restaurant. You can come here and eat for free any night you want.
But
man.
at least one of those staffers went back and I wonder if this is actually any good, and tried it in a corner of the kitchen.
I mean, he did try to eat it and it didn't work.
His body rejected it.
But for 2 months, we were calling him Sugar Shrimp Keith. So
Sugar Shrimp Keith. All right, we'd better get going on this. So a quick little background before we get into the
We're doing
nitty-gritty.
Sugar Shrimp Keith, right? That's the album?
That is the album, yeah. It's the
Not a bad
debut
album,
from Sugar Ray. The genesis of Low,
Before they fired Ray.
yeah, exactly, lies in both the foundations laid by Bowie's previous album, Station to Station, and in the music he recorded for the soundtrack to The Man Who Fell to Earth. When Bowie presented his material for the film to Nicholas Roeg, the director, he decided that it would not be suitable. Following Bowie's Thin White Duke period and the commercial success of the singles Fame and Golden Years in 1976, he was eager to escape the drug culture of Los Angeles, where he had developed a harmful cocaine habit. Bowie had also become embroiled in controversy regarding comments he made seemingly in favor of fascism. He blamed his erratic behavior in his Thin White Duke period on his addictions and precarious mental state.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Roseanne. Good night, everybody.
He later explained, "It was a dangerous period for me. I was at the end of my tether physically and emotionally and had serious doubts about my sanity." Bowie moved to Switzerland in the second half of 1976. Later that year, he and friend and singer Iggy Pop went to Berlin in a further attempt to kick their drug habits and escape the spotlight. While sharing an apartment with Pop, Bowie became interested in the German music scene, including the acts Tangerine Dream, Kraftwerk, and Neu. During the months of his recovery, he also became interested in Brian Eno's minimalist album, Discreet Music, eventually meeting with Eno in 1976, and soon after beginning collaborations with Eno, producer Tony Visconti, and Iggy Pop. The album was co-produced by Bowie and Tony Visconti with contributions from Brian Eno. As a recovering cocaine addict, Bowie's songwriting on Low dealt with difficult issues. "There's oodles of pain in the Low album," he said. "That was my first attempt to kick cocaine, so there was an awful lot of pain. And I moved to Berlin to do it. I moved out of the coke center of the world into the smack center of the world. Thankfully, I didn't have a feeling for smack, so it wasn't a threat." Visconti contended that the title was partly a reference to Bowie's low moods during the album's writing and recording. Low features Bowie's first explorations of electronic and ambient music. Side 1 of the album contained short, direct avant-pop song fragments. Side 2 comprised longer, mostly instrumental tracks. On these tracks, help was lent by ex-Roxy Music keyboards and conceptualist Eno, who brought along his EMS Suitcase, aka synthesizer. Often incorrectly given credit as Low's producer, Eno was responsible for a good deal of the direction and composition of the second side of the album, as I think we'll probably get into a little bit later on. Although the music was influenced by German bands such as Tangerine Dream, Kraftwerk, and Neu, Low has been acclaimed for its originality and is considered ahead of its time, not least for its cavernous, treated drum sound created by producer Visconti using an Eventide harmonizer. On the release of Low, Visconti received phone calls from other producers asking how he had made this unique sound, but he would not give up the information, instead asking each producer how they thought it had been done, which I think is basically the best possible way to respond to that question. RCA executives, upon hearing Low, wrote Bowie a letter rejecting the album and urging him to make an album more like Young Americans. Bowie kept the rejection letter on his wall at home.
Yeah.
Which is just pretty great.
Yeah.
Critical reaction to Low at the time of its release was relatively divided. Rolling Stone magazine's John Millward stated that Bowie lacks the self-assured humor to pull off his avant-garde inspirations, and found the album's second side weaker than its first, stating, "Side 1, where Bowie works within more conventional rock trappings, is superior to Side 2's experiments simply because a band forces discipline into Bowie's writing and performance." Perennial asshole Robert Christgau predictably complained about the album upon its release and proceeded to name it his 26th favorite album of the year. So he complained about it when it was released, he was just bitching about how it wasn't what he wanted to hear, but it was also one of his favorite albums of the year.
You said 26. Was it like out of a list of 25?
I was going to say.
No, he's the kind of asshole that probably would like list every album that came out that year in sequence.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah, guy's a piece of shit. Come on the show, Robert Christgau. What does Lee always say? We'll review Love Beach.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think we should do that for this.
I don't think we should do that for this, yes. Today, Lil appears on a number of critics' best album lists. Pitchfork placed it at number 1 on the website's top 100 album of the 70s. In 2000, Q placed Low at number 14 in its list of the 100 greatest British albums ever. In 2013, NME listed the album as the 14th greatest of all time. Low has also been regarded by music analysts as being a crucial influence on the post-rock genre, which would come to prominence among underground musicians nearly 2 decades after the album's release.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
In particular, a 2004 article from Jim, I'm going to get to you in a second, I promise. A 2004 article from Stylus magazine notes that Low would have been considered post-rock had it been released 20 years later. Jim, I feel like you want to talk.
No, I mean, like, Jesus Christ, out of all the albums that could have influenced fucking post-rock 20 years later, they're going to say that Bowie's Low did that because he fucking rested his arm on a goddamn synthesizer for 20 minutes.
It was 19 minutes, all right?
Come on.
Interesting.
Interesting
Jim,
take.
let's start with you then, Papa. Let's start with you then, Poppy. What is your... I don't know why I called you Poppy, but it's pretty fucking funny.
Let's switch gears here.
Yeah. What was your favorite song on this album?
I'm going to go with Sound and Vision. I kind of liked the surfy guitar and the bubbliness of it. It kind of reminded me of fucking like roller skating fucking through Santa Cruz or some shit.
Yeah. So, yeah, I feel like that track was sort of the most that you could draw a connection to what he was doing on like Young Americans and fucking Station to Station. It's kind of interesting how you can hear that transition from that like plastic soul shit he was doing on Young Americans into this like avant-garde shit.
Yeah, what I really kind of dug about this song too is that it was a really upbeat song, but it had just really kind of depressing lyrics. Yeah, and that juxtaposition for me is always very fun. Drew, what was your favorite song?
I played around with it for a while, but I actually kind of liked Speed of Life, the opening. It was a good, simple, straightforward, upbeat opening to that first side.
Yeah.
Got things going, didn't really mess around. It was a good start, and it was just a good track for that.
I like how it was instrumental.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, for an album that has Bowie's name on it and his picture on the cover, there's not a lot of vocals, like lead vocals
I
happening
did
here.
notice that, throughout
cool.
the album, I did appreciate that he kind of let the instruments do the talking.
Yeah, there's weirdly not a lot of ego going, and I think Speed of Life is a pretty good example of that.
Yeah, I like that track a lot too. I think it's a great way to kick off the record, and that fucking snare drum is so cool.
Yes, the snare is just wonderful throughout. What was your favorite song, Patrick?
So I feel like a big part of what is so striking about this record is the way it's sequenced. We were kind of talking about this while we were listening to the record, where you get 7 very sort of rapid fire David Bowie, very sort of David Bowie sounding songs, and on the other side we get the longer esque tracks, and I remember the first time I listened to this record when I got to Warzawa. that mood shift just sort of really stuck with me. It just has a sort of great sense of existential longing to it that I really enjoyed. The chords are just beautiful, and the fucking vocals that happen, towards the end of the song they're just wild. I love it.
Yeah, actually, just in a reference to the last episode for the Downward Spiral, I think that Warsaw is a song that made A Warm Place off of that, which was my favorite track from it, possible.
I think they have a very similar temperament and a similar purpose as well, of sort of like breaking. It's a very hard shift onto that really dark side, and it doesn't really let up at all for the rest of the record. But I just like the feeling that it gave me when I heard it, and it has stuck with me with each time I've listened to it.
Yeah, fun fact about that, too. Joy Division's original name was Warsaw.
Yes.
And they got it from this song.
That's not really that fun of a fact. I'm sorry.
Fun facts with Christopher.
You're gonna kill yourself.
Oh, man. That's too soon.
All right. That was not a Joy Division joke, by the way. That was just a sad boy joke.
He did kill himself, right?
What's that?
Ian Curtis, he killed himself.
He did, yes, but I was not joking about him. It was just a broad thing about
you were.
fun facts with Christopher. That's what happens.
But now we're all thinking about it, so it's fine.
Yeah, well, you can all go fucking run out into the middle of the street and hang out there and wait for the ice rink to melt. I don't give a shit.
Sure.
For those of you listening at home, my neighbor has an ice rink in the yard.
It's already melted.
Very large. It's large.
Fucking 40 degrees out.
My favorite track
Good ice
was
weather.
probably I had a few that I really enjoy on this, but I think "Be My Wife."
Sometimes you get so lonely. Sometimes you get nowhere.
Song
My wife.
Fucking yeah, that's fun. Do you guys remember Borat?
Yeah. my wife, Borat. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Nice.
He says nice, too, right?
Yeah.
Does he?
I don't know.
He gives the thumbs.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he gives the thumbs, and yeah, he makes racist jokes.
Yeah.
Be My Wife I like a lot. The groove on that was pretty dope, and the super percussive and tinny piano was just my kiss the anus moment on that.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, bringing it back.
I'm not bringing it back. I just used a phrase,
Yeah, but like you used to do it every episode, and then
I
stopped.
stopped
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
realized I was doing a thing.
Yeah.
Now I can say a phrase again hopefully without assholes like you calling attention to it.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. Before you go back into your bit about this song, I feel like this kind of coincided with my McHiatus somehow. So is there something related here?
Could be. All I can say right now is that my tummy hurts.
MacAnus.
All right. If any of you out there in listener world have any theories about this, anything you could
Kiss
sort of,
my MacAnus.
well, that too. But like, if you can, I don't know, contribute ideas or
Hi,
sort
I'm
of
Tom MacAnus.
I bet that person exists.
Tom MacAnus.
No, for sure.
Welcome
yeah.
to the show. I'm Tom McAnus, my co-host Mike Hunt. That's great. Be a great night of discussion, guys.
Going back to the fucking kiss the anus thing though, I'm gonna out Emily right now because
God.
every time we listen to an episode and you would do that, she would go, "I wish Christopher wouldn't do that."
I dedicate this episode to Emily.
So, Be My Wife. Yeah, the tinny piano is really cool in that. It's sort of like a ragtime thing. It's fun. It's fun. It's just Bowie it's just getting loose, having a good time, getting low.
Yeah, just hanging out with the lads.
Yeah.
Having a good time.
Yeah.
Jim, what was your least favorite song?
Oh Christ! My least favorite song was Art Decade.
Art Decade.
And I just wrote in big letters, yawn.
Yeah.
Is Jim still over there?
No.
Or did a British man get in here?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's all you got?
I made some adjustments to my Bowie drawing. His head is now on a cross, and he has a beaver tail.
Oh, and he's got some little wiry
Yeah.
arms and legs.
He's very fun now. He's a fun time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if fun is your idea of like combining religious imagery with a woodchuck and the Babadook, then yeah, I mean, everyone's having a great time over here.
I'm always having a great time.
Which is that drawing combined with the notes from my vantage looks like a note that's left at a crime scene.
Yeah, the picture is making me somehow want to synthesize like all these different things, like I don't know, like religious speech with singing Bowie and then saying "duck, duck, duck," and then like slapping like a beaver tail.
All right. So, how about this? Fart decade? No.
No, I don't think that's anything.
Okay.
It was a good try though.
Okay.
Drew, what was your least favorite song?
Hashtag fart decade.
I'm actually also going to go with Art Decade. I mean, it really, for some reason, like just that second side, maybe I just like wasn't ready for the transition because it was such a hard transition.
Yeah.
But as soon as we like went over to side B, I just sort of thought, yeah, so this is different. Wasn't ready for this. I mean, I went into this cold turkey. I think I'd heard like one or two songs from this album, but I'd never listened to the whole thing.
Yeah.
I was not lying earlier, and I was like, I don't just not write about music. I know like whatever comes on the radio. That's about it. But I think Art Day, literally my note wasn't yawn. It was, I hope this song isn't as long as the title says it is. And then that's when I noticed that my heart rate was starting to go as low as it had been all day today because I was so relaxed on your couch, which is a good place to be. But in my mind, I just kept thinking all of this is a little too different from the first side. And I couldn't groove with it. So I just kind of lost interest after that.
Fair enough.
I was too sober for it.
I see. So from another perspective, Patrick, how were you doing with that? With that, what was your least favorite song?
It was not Art Decade.
Oh, interesting.
Although I can kind of see where you guys found that track to be a little annoying because that's the one that sort of just has that like.
It's David Bowie like leaning on a fucking synthesizer.
Yeah, there's like that really slow, like Roland drum machine going in the background, just sort of just like. I don't know. I can see where that's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
But my least favorite was actually Subterraneans. I mean, it was a lovely enough track, and I thought the vocal stuff at the end was pretty cool. But all in all, it was just kind of sounded like a bunch of notes happening.
Oh, but
at
it even
once.
had some sexy sax in it, though, for a second there.
It did. I feel like it got better
that's the
towards
song.
the end, but I feel like it was a little too long. It was like the second longest song on the album, which is weird because
No, it
my favorite
wasn't.
song was the longest. No.
Oh, wait, no. You're right.
Yeah, I know I'm right.
Sorry.
I-
Sorry,
I-
everyone.
Also, but all of my favorite and least favorite submissions have been correct all throughout the series. Just saying it right now.
Oh, cool. Good to know.
Hashtag.
What the fuck is this?
The fuck is what?
For those playing at home, there is a suitcase hanging from the ceiling of Chris's basement.
No, that's a trumpet case.
Oh.
For when the trumpet goes on vacation.
You'll notice that this basement thrives on its exposed ceiling. There is just so many treasures up there. There's
a violin over there.
There's a violin up there. There are mic stands. All of this cabling runs up there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. There's a Y-wing hanging over there, a Lego Y-wing.
Oh, there's a sprinkler.
Yeah,
look,
there's-
there's
In case
this
we
wire.
catch on fire.
if you touch that wire, I swear to God, I will kill you.
We're not going over the wire thing again, guys. Come on.
Don't touch the wire, and we don't have to talk about the wire.
See episode 5 for more on the
Number
wire.
one rule about the wire is we don't talk about the wire.
No, the number one rule about the wire is we don't fucking touch the wire. Number 2 is we can stop talking about it as long as you assholes don't touch it. All right. My least favorite song, I would say, is probably Breaking Glass. most of my notes here are involving Patrick promising us McDonald's and not delivering. There's some fun stereo stuff.
Yeah,
And
what the fuck, Patrick?
I made a note about the first side. If you don't like the song, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah, I liked when he started.
get behind that.
He started singing. Well, when the vocals kind of started coming in.
I think it's a fun song. I like it.
I mean,
It's my least favorite. It's not
Yeah.
it's not a song I dislike.
Sure.
Because this is an album I really like. So I sat here and just fucking took it while you guys just mercilessly thrashed this album that I like. So I hope you're all happy.
But you seem to be taking it really well.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. All right. So
I like
There's
one of
got-
the bullshit songs. Like seriously, I'm in it for the long haul, baby. No, side 2 is the bullshit side, right? That's
I would say if you
commonly
had to pick
accepted.
if you had to pick a bullshit side, it's probably going to be the one with Eno.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, Jim.
Brian Eno.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
Jim, what is your
No,
MVP
I'm
moment?
Brian Eno.
Jesus Christ.
Like Spartacus. I'm Brian Eno.
Well, well,
What was that movie with Richard Gere in the 90s? Was it Summersby?
well.
Where he was like pretending to be someone's like spouse that came back from the war or some shit in the
Summersby?
1800s. Yeah, I think that was it. For those of you playing at home, check out some Richard Gere movies for me and let us know in the comments what you think. There are no
thanks.
comments to this, but yeah, email Patrick directly and talk to him about this movie.
No, I actually was going to say at the end of the show, it's like if you're out there, if you're listening to this, and you know, let us know. Let us know where you are, where you're from. I'm very curious. I know we can look at the analytics, but that's no fun.
Yeah, you're right.
We're gonna
It's
look up your
Summersby.
house on
just
Zillow.
That's just cold hard data. We need the warmth of a.
I don't like the gesture your hand was making when you said warm. Yeah, you can reach out to us at oldmenyellatcloud@gmail.com or yell at cloud on Twitter and
Or fucking Facebook.
on
us.
Facebook. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what you
Yeah,
smell
reach
like.
out and talk to Patrick about Summersby, whatever the movie was called, because he's really interested in learning more about it.
I really need to learn more about Richard Gere. In order
this
for me
film,
to move
in this
forward.
one film.
Yeah.
That is all
Yeah,
he fucking cares about.
Nothing outside of it, just that movie.
Just that movie and its production.
Everything else is on hold until I see this movie.
The only thing I know
and
about
learn
Richard
more about
Gere
it.
is fucking Runaway Bride.
Not even Pretty Woman, huh?
No, I've never saw Pretty Woman.
I saw it for the first time this past year.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you cry?
No.
Aren't they both Richard Gere / Julia Roberts?
Yeah.
Sure
movies?
Yeah.
Wow. The 90s were fucking dumb.
Those good old romantic comedy cinematic universes of old.
Yeah.
So you think those were the same cinematic universe?
Oh, totally.
I mean, why the hell not? It makes it more interesting.
It's kind of like that American Horror Story thing where like dozens of people exist that look exactly alike.
same cast of players, just playing different people and different
but in the
stories,
same
but they're all
universe.
connected.
But
Yeah,
in the same universe.
exactly.
So there are 7 people that look exactly like Sarah
What?
Paulson.
What if they were both twins of like Richard Gere and Julia Roberts' character in Pretty Woman, but they were like, what do you call it? Like ostracized from their family or whatever? So they're living on the lam, but then they bonded over that fact. But then it also turns into the plot of Runaway Bride. Pretty good, right?
That is a way better movie.
like putting that subplot, that like really
Yeah.
heavy subplot, on top of this fucking incredibly fluffy film.
they're abandoned twins who bond over this, then forget each other exist, and then the plot of the movie happens.
Yeah, I really think it could. I'm going to do it. And then, well, this is why I need to learn more about Summersby. This is research.
No, just make that the basic formula is there. You already have the cast. You already know it's a rom-com.
Yeah.
The titles are basically the same. You have an adjective and a word for woman or female. Pretty Woman, Runaway Bride. You know, come up with some other combination that's exactly the
Discarded
same.
twin.
Oh man,
Not my sister, but not mine is the same word.
that's good. That's really good. I would love to take part of this.
Yeah, I don't think we have to workshop this any further. Let's just start seeking investment.
Right.
Jim,
Taking it right to Hollywood.
God knows fucking Hollywood just recycling shit over and over again. So,
Dude, Netflix, they'll buy anything.
This weird sequel that ties together Pretty Woman and Runaway Bride. Yeah, that's not recycling shit at all.
And it's a psychological thriller, too.
Oh, yeah, and there's a bear in it. Jim, what is your
I thought it was a
MVP moment?
gerbil.
Andy talks.
now, never mind. My MVP moment is going to be the I had two. I was kind of going between two. I ended up going with the Eventide harmonizer and Subterraneans. I thought that sounded pretty fucking cool. But my other one was the that kind of synth break during a new career in town.
Yeah.
But I think the Eventide harmonizer is going to work.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice.
Just because Visconti said it fucking fucks with space time or the fabric of space, something like that. Fabric of time.
Do you have a Tony Visconti voice?
No, I don't know what he sounds like.
I was really hoping you were just going to go, yo, I'm Tony Visconti. I'm David Bowie. Hey, David Bowie, I'm Tony Visconti.
Hey, try some of my mama's spaghetti.
Hey, I'm walking here.
He's not from New York, correct?
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure he's British,
I'm
right?
pretty sure he's British, yeah. Someone should look that up. Drew, what was your MVP moment here?
I don't feel bad saying this. I know you didn't like Breaking Glass was your least favorite, but not that I like the song specifically, but
No. Breaking news. He was born in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Seriously?
There we go. So the accent is closer to reality.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's
Breaking news.
that is great. That is good. we have some breaking news for you.
Breaking news here.
Nobody knew he was from New York until I just announced it. It's clear.
No,
it was
no.
like right there on Wikipedia.
No, we all just
this whole
stereotyped
time.
based on his name, and turned out we were right.
as often is the case with Italian American stereotypes.
Then again, I think a
Ooh,
room
I am
filled with
very
4
sorry.
white men deciding that is probably not the best case study.
And my wife is Italian. It's fine.
I'm a little bit Italian.
I see it. It's in there.
Chris has been to Italy.
Yeah, I've been to Italy this
You've
year.
eaten a Paschetti.
So can I come clean about something that's probably very offensive?
You think Italy is very dirty?
No. When we were in the airport in Florence, waiting to leave, I could not get that fucking tarantella out of my head. So I kept kind of like humming it to myself, and Danielle kept getting like angry with me, and she kept like elbowing me, and she's like, "You can't do that. That's not okay."
No, it's okay. It's totally okay.
No, Christopher. No, it's okay.
For those of you who don't see the live cast, I am. Which we don't have. I was doing the OK symbol that is offensive in Europe.
Yeah, it's the one that weirdly you see a lot on pizza boxes.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, in America, it's just an OK. Yeah, it's a good. Yes. Drew.
Sorry, Patrick, interrupted.
No, that's okay. Just some excellent social commentary, guys. It's great.
Have you looked at the analytics? Do we have any Italian listeners?
We do.
Oh, well, we don't anymore.
Buongiorno, fellas.
Arrivederci. Good God.
Oh, man. We're not even high. I mean, Patrick is.
I mean, yeah. This is just baseline for me.
And now we're all right. All right.
MVP
Van Damme. Van
Please, for the
Damme.
love of God.
Yeah.
Jesus, we're all literally fucking crying.
Oh, man.
Feels good being back in Christopher's basement.
That was good. That was good. I'm glad we were all
right.
there for that moment.
Deep breaths.
Okay, what's your MVP moment?
I was gonna say the specifically the bass riff and Breaking Glass.
I drew something awful on it. See,
But a lot of the bass riff in the first couple of songs on the first side, George Murray's like just work throughout that first side of the album, I think is pretty steady. I mean, obviously he's helping keep rhythm, but he's got some good riffs.
Oh yeah.
But especially the one at the beginning of Breaking Glass, I thought like really stood out.
Yeah, the rhythm section is rock solid on this record, and it's sort of his like normal crew that he had.
He had like for a little while there.
That he
I
had
looked
on
up
hand.
Murray to see what he was doing now, and I think he works for a school district in California.
That's different.
Yeah, like he just like I maybe he still plays on studio albums. I don't know, but his main day job is like working for some California school district, which hopefully isn't on fire.
I just want to teach the kids. That's all I want to do. He's from Boston.
After seeing
Now I have to
copious
look up to
amounts
see
of
if he's
drug
Boston.
use
Yeah.
on multiple album recordings, I just want to stay home and think about my kids.
I'm now looking up to see if George Murray is from Boston.
I'll tell you right now, he is not. But
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah, actually, Carlos Alomar, the guitar player, is really the only one here who's like a Bowie lifer because he was there
Yeah.
through this era up until the end.
Wasn't he like a pizza guy? I thought I heard a story about like fucking Bowie.
I don't know if it
Bowie-
was Carlos Alomar, but that is
Somebody Bowie ordered a pizza, and this guy showed up, and they were like practicing whatever, and the pizza guy was like, "I play guitar," and Bowie was like, "All right, let's see what you
No,
got."
I think that was Stevie Ray Vaughan. Roll the pizza pie. That's him singing the blues about being a pizzaman.
yes. Please, call me Len. Mr. Pizzaman is my father. Patrick, what was your MVP moment?
My MVP moment, I kind of brought it up before. The snare in Speed of Life. I fucking love that song anyway. It probably would have been my second favorite on this album, if not an additional first. And jumping off what you said about that track, Drew, it just kicks off the album in such a fantastic way. And it's a very unique snare sound that you don't really hear often used unless it's done specifically to mimic this record, where it's like super gated and it sounds like they dropped the pitch or something. I've heard it used kind of to an effect on there's a song off of Moon Safari, the Air album, called Remember, that uses a very similar snare sound. But yeah, it's I don't know, it's kind of crazy to use that effect on a percussion instrument. It's definitely a bold choice. And I think it worked out. Gives the album a little, je ne sais quoi.
a little pizzazz.
A little zazz. That Bowie, he likes his zazz. That's
does.
George Murray quote. He likes the zazz.
gotta get some fucking zazz in here, kid.
I was wondering when we come back to that.
Oh, Visconti's always lurking.
I mean, zazz is definitely a street drug, right?
So for my MVP moment, there are a couple I was going back and forth between. The flute melody for Warsaw was one, because that's just such a nice little melody.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with just sort of the intro soundscapes for A New Career in a New Town. I think that is one of the more successful instrumentals on this album. It's a little tighter than the others, and it kind of has a little bit more of a definition of where it's going.
Yeah.
Was there a harmonica in that at one point?
There was a harmonica.
Yeah.
on that.
I hear it breaking through every once in a while. I kind of wanted to cheer the guy on. I was like, yeah, man, you can do it.
Yeah, that was Bowie. Actually, I put a note down that the soundscapes actually made the harmonica feel like weirdly welcome for me because normally I'm not a harmonica guy. Like when I hear a harmonica, I'm like, oh, okay, I've stumbled into a genre of music I don't care for. But in this case, it actually worked.
Yeah, there are very few moments in rock music that call for harmonica that aren't like a straight blues track, I think.
Yeah.
One of which being, of course, Supertramp's Long Way Home. That's not a good
I
example.
was gonna say
of
blues
harmonica.
that or just Neil Diamond when he wants to take a break.
Oh, yeah? Neil Diamond or Neil Young?
What? I don't know.
One of the Neils.
Pick a Neil.
Remember that whole thing where I told you I didn't like know anything about music?
Oh, I mean, you should know the difference between Young and Diamond. They're like,
I know.
there's a
I
Neil
know
spectrum,
any,
okay?
like
We're
all the
on
music
one-
journalists I know are probably going to yell at me when they hear that, but they're all the same to me. Whatever. It's a bunch of old guys named Neil.
You're probably right, actually. In the grand scheme of things.
All right. So that brings us to comparable album.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I had one, and I forgot. Come back to me.
Oh, Jesus, you jerk.
Yeah, this is a hard editing point later. Come on, man.
No, I'm not editing. Everyone's going to know about this.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You popped out,
I
bro.
don't care. Yeah.
All right, fine. Drew, you got something? Or you got something, or are you going to pull a Jim?
No, I've got something. I'm just waiting to see if he clicks or
Oh,
not.
yeah, go on.
All right, cool. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, wait, I remember now.
There we go. I knew it.
I'm going to go with the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds just because of all the fucking weird shit that's thrown in there.
Fair enough. Yeah, I can buy that.
It's by no means the same era, let alone genre per se, but I know what I listen to is mostly like American folk rock and stuff. I guess you'd call it indie rock, but I'm a huge fan of the band Dawes, and for some reason I kept thinking about their 2011 album Nothing Is Wrong. Like kind of a lot of the like same mostly instrumental slow kind of groovy songs. Not as experimental, but it just kind of put me in the same place.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where my head was at.
Is it Dawes?
Daws.
DAWS?
DAWES?
Oh, okay. Not like
a digital
pluralized-
audio workstation.
No.
Patrick.
My comparable album, I had another one at some point that was a little more contemporary, but now I fucking forgot it. So I'm just gonna cop out and go with Another Green World by Eno, and besides the obvious reasons where it's both produced by Eno, of course.
Sure.
There is a moment on Another Green World where the mood dramatically shifts, kind of like on Low, and it doesn't really turn back. So it kind of has a similar vibe to me in that way. And then just the general usage of that krautrock inspired avant-garde shit. And yeah, I feel like a Weeping Wall in particular sounded like it could have belonged on that record. It would not have been out of place, which is weird because that's all David Bowie. He wrote and performed that entire track.
Yeah.
So that's what I would go with, I guess.
I would go with Kings of the Wild Frontier, which is by Adam and the Ants.
Yes.
And that's
It's a good track.
Well, it's an album.
I mean,
but,
I don't know the rest of the album, but like that, I know that song.
Yeah. That album for me sonically, I think falls in a lot of kind of similar places. Because the first thing that came right to mind was Scary Monsters, which is also a Bowie album, so I didn't want to say that. But that I associate in my head a lot with Kings of the Now Frontier, or whatever the fuck I just said, the Wild Frontier. So, yeah, that about does it for me. All right, you guys ready to rate?
David Crockett.
Yeah.
King of the Wild Frontier.
That's a good old song right there, Buckaroo. You're a good old American boy.
Is Adam Ant here?
Yes, you did sing Davy Crockett.
All right, so let's rate this. Jim, on a scale of 1 to 10.
I'll rate your fucking face tonight.
All right.
Give me something to rate.
David Bowie's album Low.
I'm going to give it a 6.
Okay.
If it wasn't David Bowie, honestly, it might get a 5. But I love the Bowie. I respect the Bowie. He's
Not enough
Bowie.
for a 7, though.
Not enough for a 7.
Okay.
Not this one, at least. He's got enough albums where it's okay if I give one of them a 6.
What's your favorite Bowie, you think?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay. Then don't. Okay? Then just fucking don't. Drew?
Probably the rise and fall of Ziggy Stardust. I'll be a fucking lame bastard.
I mean, it's a
It's a pretty good album.
It's a good album.
yeah,
It's popular for a reason.
yeah.
Yeah. Drew, what do you got?
I mean, I'd be a little nice. I can be nicer and I'll give it a 7. I mean,
You don't have to be.
Yeah,
You
you
can
don't have to be
give it-
nice.
No, I
Speak from
really,
the heart.
I really do like the first side. Like I genuinely I never listened to this album in its entirety before, and I really did like that first side.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
It's just the second side sort
hurt
of
me,
like
too.
But at the same time, I was like sitting there like zoning out in your couch. So I know if I go back and listen to it, I'd probably feel a little better about it.
I think
Yeah.
the thing I feel about the second side, I mean, so I feel like maybe like we were talking before about the way that this album is arranged. Maybe if the second half was more intertwined with the first
Yeah.
half, I would like
Yeah,
a
it
little
would-
more. But
if it wasn't
but
so
putting
stark.
it all on
Yeah.
the second half and just having you kind of zone out and like, there's a time and a place for that, and I just didn't feel like it.
Yeah, if it wasn't so
It's just-
stark and like it wasn't. It's not just that it's abrupt, but it's abrupt and then it never changes again. Sort
Yeah.
of like, I don't know. It threw me off, but I mean, I'll give it I will genuinely give it a 7. I do like it for the most part.
Patrick.
I'm going to give it an 8. I think this is probably my second favorite Bowie album after Hunky Dory. It's definitely my favorite of the Berlin trilogy. A lot of that is because, one, it's very succinct. It's a brisk 36 minutes. I think each track gets its point across for as long as it needs to, except for maybe Subterraneans. And yeah, I really dug the bullshit side. I don't know. I'm a big Eno fan, and I like that sort of furniture music stuff. I like it. There's stuff for me to latch on to. I kind of like the ostinatos and shit, and figuring all that out is a lot of fun to listen to for me. And yeah, I do like the way it's arranged. I think it does serve a very specific mood, but it's one that I'm typically down for, I guess, 'cause I'm fucking weird.
No, I can see that. It gets a 9 for me. It's my favorite Bowie album. I alternate between this and Outside. Outside is not usually an album people pick for a favorite Bowie.
Right.
And I feel like this probably isn't a lot of times either. But yeah, no, I have a special place in my heart for both of them. This is the first Bowie album I really got into, so I think that certainly has a part of it. But the second half of it, I didn't start to appreciate until I got older. And for a bullshit side, I do like it as well. I like the Eno influence. And yeah, it's an album that I really enjoy. There's just not a song I dislike on it. I had a least favorite. So for me, it gets a 9. That gives us a cumulative rating of 7.5. So yeah, it passed the class.
Yeah.
Has that ever happened before, where we go like in order 6, 7, 8, 9, or like some kind
probably.
of rating like that?
Possibly, but I don't think so. 6, yeah. Yeah, it was full on in order. I will say that this episode probably did have our longest laugh break to the point where
for
I
sure.
might actually edit
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
And all we had to do was make fun of Italian people.
Yeah,
Oh no, you come
and as a result, you get to listen to a bunch of grown white men cry for about 2 minutes.
all right. Listen. If you're out in Italy right now and you're listening to the show, write to us. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Well, tell us about what you like to do. Tell us about some of your favorite albums. Maybe we'll mention you on this show.
But make sure your message is in English.
Yeah, if it's
No,
not,
it's all right. If it's not, we'll translate
if
it.
it's
It's
not,
fine.
we'll try to read it, or we'll read it via Google Translate, and that might come out looking real bad for all parties involved.
Yep.
Also, I feel like it bears mentioning that we're making fun of Italian Americans here.
Yeah,
true.
I mean, they're Americans, so I think
We're
that's sort
making fun
fair
of
game.
our countrymen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, The Sopranos did this like 20
David
years
Bowie
ago,
was
so
afraid
we're
of
fine.
Americans,
Exactly.
So.
Yes, very true. He was
Yeah.
afraid of Americans.
Yeah.
He was, yeah. Maybe that song was about Tony Visconti.
I can just imagine him walking around New York. I'm afraid of Americans.
So you think he walked around, like, kind of creeping around, skulking around, singing it?
I don't like his accent.
Well, when did
Scares
he
me.
record? Did he record that at what the fuck was the name of the studio in New York that closed down? I want to say it was Candyland, but it wasn't Candyland.
No, it wasn't.
What the fuck was the name of that studio? But he used to record there all the time.
Electric Ladyland.
Was it?
No.
Electric
I want to say,
Larryland
I want to say
by
Real
Butthole
World, but that's Peter
No,
Gabriel's spot
it
in
was
England.
on. It was on fucking the Foo Fighters documentary show. There, it was one of the.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Not Sound City.
That specific. No, that's in Van Nuys,
Sound
California.
Sound City.
Factory?
Sound City.
No.
Oh, you're thinking of. It's on the tip of my tongue. The Hit Factory.
I don't think it was the Hit Factory.
Okay.
It might be Hit Factory.
I mean, Bowie has certainly recorded there because one of my teachers used to work there and recorded with him.
Right. Hit Factory.
Anyway, while he figures this out on his own, Drew, thanks for joining us.
That closed back in 2005.
Drew, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
Where can people find you online?
I spend because I work for the fake news media. I spend way too much time on Twitter. So yeah, just at Andrew Husband. Not a lot of people who brandish that last name unless it has a bunch of numbers behind it, or they're trying to say that they're like Patriot Husband 75 or some bullshit. You laugh, but it fucking happens. That's the beauty of like muting and stuff on Twitter, at least now, so that I can just like mute out all the people who their first comment on a post or an article is, "Wait, your last name is Husband?" I was like, "Yeah, welcome to kindergarten. I'll talk to you later, buddy."
That is a great thing to say to someone.
Well, my personal favorite, not to digress, but there's those of you who are listening who are like based in and around Boston have probably heard of the chef, the smokehouse guy, Andy Husbands. Like that's his name, Andy Husbands, and he owns he has a barbecue joint over at Assembly Row and a bunch of other places, and he's won all these awards and he's been on Food Network. No relation whatsoever. We just happen to have a literally similar first and last name.
Yeah.
But sadly, I don't get discounts at his restaurant.
You heard it here first.
Yeah,
folks.
but anyways,
The
yeah.
Magic Shop.
The Magic
was name
Shop.
of it.
But anyways, yeah, at Andrew Husband, that's where I do most of my bullshit.
All right, I'll have to check out your barbecue sometime.
Yeah, please tell me if it's any good.
I'm sure it is just great.
Jim, what do you have going on?
I don't fucking know anymore. Get me your stems, Patrick. Jesus Christ.
I'm working on
Oh,
it.
nice. We're still working on the stems. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I got to figure out the fucking
The mixes
bit
by the
rate.
time by the time this airs, all the Cactus Attack mixes should be done.
Yeah.
Christopher heard some of it today.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good. I do have another request. I know we've been making a lot of requests today for our dear listeners, but this one is, I think, very important. Can someone please find the first time Patrick tells Jim that he's going to send him stems? Because we need to know how long he has been, quote unquote, working on this.
We'll send you some swag.
Yeah, we don't have any swag, but we'll make swag to send you if you can let us know this. If you can let us know that, whatever the fuck, I can't.
We'll send you one of Patrick's used McDonald's bags.
I do need help.
So in addition to that, Patrick, what else do you have to plug?
I don't know, nothing. I'm working on a new album next month for Smell, but in the meantime, check out Smell on Spotify.
Is this the same album that I'm working on?
No, this is going to be a different one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's for RPM.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, RPM challenge is coming up, which is fun. A bunch of us, we've all participated in some way, shape, or form before. It's a challenge to make an album start to finish in the month of February. So that's a good time ahead by all.
Oh, I'm playing a show.
Oh.
March 1st. I'm filling in on drums for the John Hanson project.
Oh.
At the British Beer Company in Franklin? Yeah, in Franklin.
They do live music?
I guess they do.
Oh, that's where.
If not, they're going to be very upset when we show up.
my dad lives there.
You should, yeah, and Owen lives there too. You should hit him up.
Owen lives in Franklin?
Yeah.
Oh, good to know.
No kidding.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that we're now talking about where people live on the internet.
Yeah. A lot of people have vested interest in fucking Franklin, Massachusetts.
Actually, it was voted one of the top 10 places in the United States to raise a family.
It's actually a really nice town. Dean College is there, too. It's they built up the
Yeah,
downtown.
so for those of
pretty
you
nice.
listening in Italy, now you know where to send all your hate mail.
Yeah. To Franklin, Massachusetts.
Yeah, send it to Patrick's dad, who likes to build seats in the back of the van for the kids, and he's out that way.
He will come and build seats in your van any day of the week.
Yeah, he's an aftermarket man. Yeah. I don't really have anything else going on. New Very Wilmar album still out on Spotify called Little Steep Decay. You can find that. Also, I am in the finishing stages of mixing a couple songs that I recorded for my buddy John Green's band, Fifth Business. John Green is my co-host on Nickelbackin'. Pretty excited about them. They're pretty weirdo, fun tunes. They should be out probably by the time that this episode gets released. So, check out Fifth Business.
Oh, man. Shout out to Rick for the ballin'-ass baritone guitar he built for Chris. That thing is the shit.
Yes, Rick Surratt, who guested on our Spiderland episode, built me a custom guitar that is just fucking dope.
Yeah, I played a power chord on it, and I could feel it in my balls. It was great.
yeah, it's that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, shout out there. All right, anything else anyone want to pledge?
Yeah, listen to Jukebox Zeros, too.
And check out all the other fun Zero Science shows on the Zero Science Podcast Network. Woo!
Yeah, I just got a text from my wife that we need Fancy Feast for the cats.
I was really hoping you weren't going to finish that. The cats are all set, but we need Fancy Feast.
We're on the Fancy Feast diet.
That's our code word for McDonald's. we don't use
Fancy. I just imagine like Fancy Feast flavored McFlurry. Good God.
Actually, you could kind of make that work, because you know how McDonald's doesn't have actual ketchup? They have the fancy ketchup packets.
So what exactly is it then? Is it just like corn
Synthetic.
syrup that's like red?
I don't know, but their packets say fancy ketchup.
Oh.
They're always labeled fancy ketchup, and they wouldn't be labeled that and not just ketchup unless there was a reason.
Something has been fancified.
Yeah, something's been fancified.
Maybe
By
it's
that
like
we mean
fancy as in like
altered.
imaginary.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that'd be great. It's like an Emperor's New Clothes sort of thing. Like you
Yeah.
open the packet and like nothing comes out of it, but all the grown-ups are just like, oh wow, what fancy ketchup.
Yeah, it feels like it would be a good gimmick. It's just like, just give them like packets of like Vaseline or something. Just
Oh God,
clear.
We have hit the bottom of the barrel. So on that note, Drew, thanks again for joining us. I am Christopher.
I'm Patrick.
Patrick, give me those stems. I'm Jim.
All right.
See you now.
Thank you.
Every day is a winding road.
Yeah.
Are we good to go?
I love Sandra Bullock.
Zero science.
Lils and Patrick are two local musicians from the New England area whose minimal accomplishments have left them thoroughly unqualified to judge bands and artists who have been more successful than they ever could be. And yet, their passion for bad music persists on Jukebox Zeros, the podcast that takes a retrospective look at the worst albums of all time. From The Shags to Attila, from Cyberpunk to Scream. If there's a band that has an album they're ashamed of, Lils and Patrick will be there. Share their love on Jukebox Zeros, now on the Zero Science Network, and wherever podcasts may be found.